I like to car camp and I like sleeping in a tent, but I'm tired of the hassle of setting up a tent and taking it down when moving from one place to another, since I like to move locations frequently. I decided I wanted to sleep in my minivan instead of a tent. There are probably hundreds of videos of minivan camper conversions, but for one reason or another, they didn't suit me. I stumbled across a video by Heli 400 in which he shows off what he calls his camper box, and it inspired me to make something like it. I have included a link below and you should check out his video. Here are the design principles for my camping box. It will serve as a sleeping platform and storage box. My wife will not go camping, so it only needs to fit one person. I do not want to modify the minivan in any way by drilling into it, putting screws in it, and all that sort of thing, because most of the time I use it as a minivan, not a camper, and I don't want to affect its resale value. I want to be able to see out all the windows. I want to be able to use one of the rear seats. I'm not living in the minivan, and I don't want to cook in the minivan. Basically, the minivan is going to serve as my tent. Materials that I use to build the camping box. I used some 1x2 poplar boards to build a frame. These boards were glued and screwed together. I covered the frame on the bottom and the sides with 1/4-inch birch plywood, which was glued and screwed to the frame. The top and the front bulkhead are made out of 1/2-inch birch plywood, and I used some 2.5 by 1/4-inch poplar boards to build a fishing rod tray. All these materials are available at Home Depot or Lowe's or both. So this is the camping box. There's a storage area with 2 hatches, and I'll explain why that is in a minute. And in the back is a cooler compartment with its own separate hatch and a slide-out tray. This is the storage compartment, and I want to show you my tray here that I put my fishing rods in, and it's removable. And there are also 2 removable dividers. So I can divide this compartment into 3 areas if I want to. The fishing rod tray is made of 2.5 by 1/4 poplar boards that have been glued together. It fits in here on 2 supports. And there are cleats here that fit around this piece of the frame to keep it from sliding. And then this keeps it from moving back and forth, and when the lid's closed, this can't come up. This is the cooler compartment. It's 2 latches, and it opens like this, and there's a slide-out tray here for the cooler. And when I put this in the van, I'll show you how that works. This is a trifold mattress that fits on the box. This is what I sleep on. The mattress is 25 inches wide, 77 inches long, which is the dimensions of the box as well. Now I'm going to show you why I have 2 hatches in the top for the storage compartment. When you fold this mattress up, if you move it that way, then you can get into this hatch. And to get into the other hatches, you just move it that way. Then you can get into this one, and you can get into the cooler compartment. Otherwise, I'd have to take the mattress off the box and put it on the floor, and there's not enough room in the van for all that. Here's the bottom of the box. At the far end, you can see I have a cleat there which raises up the back of the box enough that the slide-out cooler tray will get over the sill of the lift gate. And at the front, I have some casters. Let's talk safety for a minute. I have a 3/4 by 8-inch oak board glued and screwed to the frame of the box. And I have these heavy-duty cargo rings bolted to it. This one, I use a cargo tie-down strap to attach to this and a seat anchor for a second row seat. And this one, I use this climbing carabiner to attach a second row seat belt to it. And the reason is, this box weighs about 50-55 pounds. When it's fully loaded, it probably weighs 100. And when you get the cooler in the cooler compartment, that adds about another 30-some pounds. So this thing weighs as much as a good-sized adult. And if I get into a crash, I want this thing secured. Otherwise, it turns into a giant battering ram. And the way my van is configured, this has to go behind the driver's seat. Here's the box in the van with the seats down. I have to block up the front of the box to make it level because the floor of the van slopes from the back to the front. You can see here how I attach the tie-down strap. You can see there's storage space under the box in the front. I put my folding lawn chair and a privacy tent under there. And in the back, I can slide my window shades. Here's the seat belt attachment. Even with one back seat up and the box in here, there's still enough room to change clothes or do whatever you need to do. You can get to the cooler from inside the van using this hatch. So if you wanted to get a cold drink or a snack at night, or if it's raining, you don't have to get out of the van to access the cooler. And then it slides out so you can easily take the cooler in and out, or if you need to drain water or whatever. The other thing I do is I use this seat belt and another carabiner and attach it to the handle of the cooler. Again, in case I get in a crash, I don't want 30-some pounds of cooler shooting through the front part of this box, taking everything with it and right into me. The last thing I want to show you is how I deal with storing my food and stuff in the van. I made this rack. It has removable shelves, 1/4-inch plywood with some poplar stiffeners on the back that set into grooves in this frame. So I can remove them, but because of the stiffeners fitting into the grooves, these won't slide around. This is the same poplar that I built the frame for the box out of. It's glued and screwed together as well. So here's the rack. It sits down in the wheel or the seat well behind the one back seat that I leave up. I have these crates. My food would be in this one, goes there. Everything I need to cook a meal is in that one, and it goes there. So let's say it's night and I'm sleeping, I wake up, I need a snack. I can move this out of the way, lift that up, and I can get to my food. Now, underneath here, this is where I keep my tire compressor, jumper cables, tools, propane cylinders, and all that miscellaneous stuff that you need to take with you when you go on a car trip. So all my food and everything I need to cook with is right here in the back of the van. In the future, I'll make a video showing how I made this roof window vent that keeps the rain out, and how I made my window shades and what they're made out of. Thank you.